Warning, we are a spoiler-based podcast. At times, we are also an offensive podcast. And we are most certainly a verbally explicit podcast. So if you fear for any of your delicate sensibilities, please back up now before you reach the point of no return. This is your final warning.
Yes. I don't know.
This is not porno. What are you doing?
Yes.
We're not trying to record porn. We need sound levels for podcast, not a porncast. We're good.
Yes.
I think we're good.
Yes.
We'll hear it in just a sec.
Hello, everybody. Welcome again to our podcast, to our humble rendition of synopsis of movies we love to call Cinematic Anarchy. This is Omar, and here with us we have El Jefe, Christopher.
Hey.
And today we're reviewing a movie from the 80s.
1985.
Featuring the comedic genius talents of Jim Carrey, the movie Once Bitten.
This is young Jim Carrey. This is pre-In Living Color Jim Carrey.
Almost prepubescent Jim Carrey. He played a teenager in this joint.
18, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. And he was probably not too far from 18 when he did it. It was the 80s, mid-80s.
Yeah, so you had a lot of people that were in their 20s playing 16 to 18-year-olds.
At that time, yeah.
So sometimes in their 30s. There was a couple of people. Like
there were the occasional.
I can't remember her name worth the life of me right now, but the one girl on 90210.
Daphne Zuniga?
Huh?
Daphne Zuniga?
No, that's not 90210. That's Melrose Place.
Melrose Place.
90210.
You know your shows, man.
My significant other watches those things religiously. Anything by spelling, she loved. But, that being said...
Significant others.
My wife.
Significant others love certain shit. My significant other likes a show on Netflix called The Good Witch.
The Good Witch.
And she has binged that shit.
My wife has a binge-watching rotation. So, there are shows, like when I'm not here, when I'm at work, and she has those few hours before she goes to work in the morning, she has a binge-watching rotation. So... She's got a list of shows, and she watches them. She'll watch the entirety of the show, move on to the next one, and then it flips around, and she starts over again.
Would you believe I am unable to binge watch anything?
I can't sit down and watch more than 2 episodes anything.
I have told this to a few people, especially younger people, and they look at me like I have a condition, like this is not normal. I could sit down and watch an episode. I also cannot just stay in my seat, like sit still, to watch another episode of anything. I gotta get up and do something, then come back. Let's just say it's a Sunday where, for example, after this, I have nothing else to do with my day.
Right.
All the shopping was done, holiday shopping, all of that BS. I go home and I'm gonna sit down and probably watch something with my significant other. And of course, she will just want to sit through the next episode. I need a minute.
Right.
Get up.
Quick break. Get up. Do something.
Do whatever. Sometimes I just get up and just put my phone to charge when it doesn't need charge. I gotta get up and get the hell away from there for like 2 minutes at least.
I find myself binge watching in flight. If you understand what that means. Like I can sit down in the evening and maybe watch
in flight in a plane.
No. Let me explain myself. I can occasionally sit down and watch some TV shows or a couple of movies or whatever. Again, yeah, I need that break to get up, stretch my feet, do a few things. But for the most part, when I have a television show on that I want to watch, like, my binge watching is not anything else anybody else in this house watches. So I have my own shows that I watch, and I will sit here, and I have a TV out in the kitchen for that. Because while I'm watching TV, if it's in the kitchen, I can do dishes, I can clean up out here, I can prep for certain meals, like, prep for the next day's meal, I can do the laundry, which is, like, right there.
Yeah.
I can do all that stuff and still have my show running at the same time. I don't like to just sit and watch TV. I like to have... That's why I have it out there, so I can do things.
That's probably why I can binge, is because I guess I pay too much attention to it.
Right.
Because I will pay attention to details. And then after an hour sitting paying attention to shit, I gotta go do something.
Only time TV has my thorough attention is when I'm watching something for this podcast. That is literally the only time that my TV has my complete attention, because when I'm not watching something for this podcast, I am literally trying to do everything else.
I guess being somebody basically with ADD, such as myself, I'm afraid I'm going to miss details. And I rewind absolutely too much shit, too.
I got severe enough ADT.
Send us a check, ADT.
I have security
Alarm
issues,
services.
Apparently I have security issues.
He's got some security issues.
No, I have severe enough ADD that literally, even if I sit down and watch a movie and focus on it, I'm going to miss something.
However, with music, I am able to do things. Like, if I'm playing some music in the background, I'm able to do a whole day worth of chores, do everything, just because I'm not the type of person that would think of chores as something you have to build me a statue for. If it needs to be done, it needs to be done, and I'm thinking what you did or didn't do. If I play some music, I get shit done, like a lot. But with music, for me, I have kind of a photographic memory with music. I could hear, like, basically break shit down in my head as far as music, but with visual stuff, I need to really pay attention, because for some reason, if I really like a show, like watching The Sopranos, let's just say an hour an episode of The Sopranos is a show I love, it'll take me an hour and a half because I rewind shit too much.
It's like you looked away for a minute and like, oh, I gotta go back.
Yeah, I gotta go back. I didn't catch this.
Well, Sopranos is really one of those shows that if you miss little things, too, you miss a bunch.
I'd be the first one to admit that's a very bad habit of mine. But I also, I guess, I'm like the person who says they want to quit smoking, but they're not really trying.
Yeah, you're saying, yeah, I'm quitting right now, but you got a cigarette between your lips.
Yeah.
I'll quit smoking after this cigarette.
Eventually.
And then when I'm done the pack. I got a carton over here. Let me finish that first.
Exactly. And speaking of addictions, the movie we're reviewing today is about a vampire. A centuries-old vampire played by the beautiful
Lauren Hutton.
Sexy at that time. I haven't seen her in years, so I don't know what's her whole demeanor now to say she's sexy now, but she was hella sexy back then. Lauren Hutton.
Girl woke up at the beginning of the movie in what looked like the outfit that Olivia Newton-John wore in Let's Get Physical. Just leotard, head to toe.
Physical, I wanna get... Her manservant, Sebastian, was hilarious. Was it Sebastian the name?
I believe that's what his name was. Yes, Sebastian.
He was hilarious at the beginning. The little thing he did with his feet when he was about to walk into the room was hilarious. I had to I had to repeat that like 5 times. It actually was super funny to me.
That character played by Chevron Little.
Yes.
I absolutely love this movie. That's why I wanted to do it this time around. Because if you look at it, if you go on, you go on the internet.
Yeah.
It got an 18% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. For IMDb, it's a 5.5 out of 10. And apparently the critics don't listen to the people that actually watch the movies, because if you go right down below that, 95% of people that watch... No, sorry, 91% people of the people that watch this film loved it.
One thing I gotta say, I don't know if it's the anarchy part of my cinematic that will say what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Film critics really need to relax. everybody is not going to be Coppola, Woody Allen. Everybody's not going to be that guy. Everybody's not going to be Brian De Palma,
Right.
Oliver Stone. You need to fucking relax. These are people that are entertaining people, and they're doing and they're trying really hard at it. Like, you have to understand that there's levels to this shit, and you gotta see things for what they are, and stop measuring films up to the Godfathers, your Scarfaces, and the Gone with the Winds of the world.
So we being part of the Cinematic Anarchy group, I really feel that I want to add something to the podcast here.
Yeah.
I've been looking at a lot of the ratings that people give certain movies that we watch, especially ones that we think are good, like Scott Pilgrim.
That movie was good.
Loved that movie, but it got bad critical ratings when it first came out. And
yeah,
I think that I would like to add to this podcast just a few of those bad reviews from here on out. I don't want to do them today because I didn't do any research, but I was really thinking about it. I looked through some of the bad reviews.
Yeah,
for this.
I love the idea, but I feel like all these people need to relax and stop measuring movies. Like, of course, you're gonna have some movies by any standard and any stretch of the mental perception is a bad, horrible movie.
Right.
Just like you have actors that no matter which way you slice it are gonna be bad actors.
Well,
Steven Seagal. But
Steven Seagal, one of those few actors that the fewer lines of dialogue that you give him during the movie, the better the movie is.
Yes.
Just saying. Not for nothing. I mean, if he were to do an entire movie just silent, the entire movie, just nothing but his ability to fight,
to kick some ass,
that would be a good movie for him.
because he is way above average martial artist. He's just a horrible actor.
Dare I say, Steven Seagal is the Ben Stein of action films.
I told somebody Steven Seagal is the James Bond of rednecks.
I am not going to say that I didn't like some of his movies, because I have. However, like with Zeph, he hates Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. Anything with Jean-Claude Van Damme in it. Zeph.
Oh, Seth. He hates Steven Seagal.
Did you forget Zeph?
Oh, Zeph.
Yeah, he does not. No,
I heard Jeff.
It's
I said, who the fuck is Jeff?
Jean-Claude Van Damme. He hates.
Jean-Claude Van Damme is an acquired taste, but he's not that bad an actor as Seagal is.
I mean, at least, yeah. Seagal versus Van Damme. Van Damme has
basically, he has a better actor. Not way better, but better. And he's a better martial artist, I think, than Seagal.
Anybody that thinks that he doesn't have dramatic acting chops needs to go and check out JCVD.
Yes.
That was a very good movie.
Universal Soldier.
You've seen JCVD, correct?
I've seen parts of it. There was this music video.
Okay.
That he did. I think it's for David Sinclair, electronic music guy. You know, I'm a house music head as well as a hip hop head. And there's this producer, basically now legendary house music producer who is French. Mr. Sinclair had Jean-Claude Van Damme in a video.
Okay.
Where he's dancing. The whole video.
I've seen the meme.
But he's dancing tango style, actually. Like, and you could see, like, he has taken a little bit of acting lessons at least. Try to put Van Damme in some shit like that.
I think he quit his action career for a little while because he wanted to get into dramatic acting, but nobody, I don't think, took him seriously.
He doesn't have it. He's the human version of...
Human version? Okay, complete that
Human
sentence.
version of a desert. He's the human equivalent of the desert. But the part of the desert where there's nothing and nothing ever happens but vultures waiting for people to die to eat them.
Ah.
That's it.
I wouldn't. I don't know if I would go that far. I mean, like I said, I've enjoyed some of his movies. There have been some movies that I watched that he was.
There is this movie where he played his enemy in this movie. William Forsythe, and he was a big drug dealer who had become a crack addict. So he was. Could you imagine a person who is crazy, psychotic, and a crack addict that has mad money and power? And he's going around everywhere just going crazy. I enjoy that movie because Mr. Forsythe is a very good actor.
Yes.
You know who I'm talking about.
So you're feeling like he has been in good movies mainly because of the people that he's played off of.
Yeah. Mainly against. Because the people that has played like alongside him, like on the good guy's side,
yeah.
Because that's one thing about those movies. Everybody's either completely good or completely bad.
Yeah.
He has played along some very good actors that I think there might be a clause on the... I don't know what the fuck is, but these people, you can tell that they're holding back on their awesomeness for Mr. Seagal not look like a like a sorry ass actor.
It's a clause in their contract. We have the action star, and you guys are sort of the bit parts. He needs to look like the ultimate badass here, so what you guys need to do is just tone it down a bit.
Yeah.
Be a badass, just don't be as much of a badass as this person over here.
If you really take a look at this movie we're reviewing today, for example, there was some good acting. This guy, Sebastian, like I said, had to be the most hilarious, effeminate manservant as seen in any movie. I loved it.
I want to say right up there with Hollywood and Mannequin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one was crazy dope.
Yes.
I remember that one. Was it John Cusack?
No.
Mannequin?
God, I can't remember his name.
I think it was John Cusack.
No. Mannequin... That was Kim Cattrall, and I believe the guy's name is John, but I can't remember his last name, like John MacArthur or something like
Mannequin.
that. No, not John MacArthur.
Andrew McCarthy.
Andrew McCarthy. It was not John. Wow. Fuck.
Yeah. James Spader was in this movie as well.
Yes.
And speaking of 80s movies, Once Bitten is with Jim Carrey. He's a high school student who one night, I guess, found a way to go into a club with his friends and met this vampiress, the Countess, played by Lauren Hutton in her prime. It looked great in that movie.
So this was a very sex-centric movie.
Yeah.
It was all focused around Jim Carrey's virginity.
The character's virginity.
And his...
In his utility to the vampire because of his blood.
It was an odd movie, and I really there's only one actor in the entire movie that I really think that the film could have done without, or they could have recast it, and that was the female lead opposite Jim, which was his girlfriend.
Coppins.
That was Robin Pierce.
Yeah.
Played by Karen Copkins.
Yeah. The one redeeming part that it had is when she said, "He doesn't want you because you're evil and bad. He wants me because I'm nice and I'm sweet and I'm pure. So fuck off."
Yes.
That one part where...
Okay, yes, the dance battle, basically, between Hutton and Copkin was...
The dance off, they will call it now. But, us men of a certain age will say dance battle. But for all you younger people, they had a dance off in the movie.
Yes.
And it was dope with Jim Carrey. The talent on that guy, man, I'll never get tired of saying. The part also when his buddies noticed something was off in his genital area and they needed to further examine while they were all in the shower, along like 100 other high schoolers. And one guy grabbed them from behind so the other guy could see, and there was gays in the shower, and everybody ran off. That was funny as hell.
It was a fantastic movie from back to front, honestly. Yeah. I'm a little confused by a few things, but it's a comedic movie that's not based even remotely in reality. So even my confusion I can put aside because Well, I can only be confused by this if we're trying to base this in reality at all, and we're not. Okay?
Exactly.
But I feel like the end of this movie felt a lot like Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I say that is because you have the two guys, basically in pizza clown costumes, who run across the two girls, which kind of mirrors that whole scene where the two guys who are constantly looking for women the entire movie run across the two female clowns in Killer Clowns.
Yeah, it was true. It was, that huge sequence to make it a climatic ending. It was pretty good. It wasn't bad at all. I liked it. And yeah, it was kind of a la Killer Clowns from Outer Space, or say, where big moments happened before the finale. But in this case, it was coincidentally, probably not too coincidentally, two guys that were the guys that were running around trying to get women find the two women that will be their doom.
And an ice cream truck is very prominent in this movie as it was in Killer Clowns as well.
We should probably check on the trivia to see if that was intentional reference, which I do not doubt it.
I don't know if they were trying, like Killer Clowns was trying to reference Once Bitten, or if Once Bitten was trying to reference Killer Clowns. But either way, kudos. All right, favorite scene.
Because it still wasn't bad. The thing with these references to movies is when you nail it.
Right.
And they did. I enjoyed the movie throughout, and they enjoyed it.
What would you say your favorite scene in the movie was?
My favorite scene of the movie had to be the dance-off, because Jimmy Carrey could dance, but he also, was Jim Carrey, super silly. I enjoyed the dance-off. I also enjoyed when he first met this woman at the club. Said, "I'm 21, but I pass by 18 sometimes. People tell me they think I'm 18."
So I had two favorite brief scenes in the movie, and a couple of other minors that I liked. But there was the scene in the telephone club where his buddy, he's the first one to get up to cross the way. I'm going over to number 17 over here, and he sits down with this girl, and she starts talking to him. "Oh, you're a Sagittarius? Well, I'm a Gemini. Do you know what that means? We're like H2O." And he looks at him, he's like, "Are you a guy?" And he's like, "Does it matter?" And he gets up and starts walking away. "Yeah, no, I'm going to head back now." And the guy looks at him and he goes, "Sissy."
Uh-huh.
And then my second favorite part of the movie was later on in the film when they're trying to fend off the gaggle of vampires so that Jim Carrey and his girl can escape. They're fending them off with that torch and everything. And then finally one of the vampires just walks up and goes and blows out the torch.
Yeah.
Like nobody had thought of that beforehand. Like, we can just blow out the torch. We don't need to sit here and be afraid of that. Just blow it out.
Another part I thought it was hilarious. The guy was always breaking through doors and shit. And this lady said, "I keep replacing doors. How about try the knob first next time?" And he just turned the knob and just walked
Lowers
in.
his head. Yeah, here you go.
Yeah, I guess we're in here.
And like every single vampire in the movie was stuck in the outfit that they got killed in.
And probably mentally in that era. The guy, for example, in his coffin, a guy had a Confederate flag.
The antebellum soldier,
the Confederate flag on his thing. Which nowadays is a MAGA hat, but you know what I'm talking about, the Confederate flag.
You had the old school pilot that was there. The other girl who was like a British, I'm guessing a British prostitute from like the 1800s.
Yes.
Yada yada yada.
With the prostitute wear and everything. Yep.
Which made me wonder why the Countess was the only one that could change her clothes. Why everybody else had to stay in uniform.
Probably she had it that way purposely.
Want to be reminded of where I got you from.
It's possibly.
The twins were the only ones that I couldn't like peg. Like what time frame they were supposed to have been.
The way the twins are siblings in real life.
Yes.
Glenn and Gary Morrow. When you mentioned the twins, I was right.
You were right on it.
Right on it, coincidentally, unless you were seeing that I was there.
No, I was not seeing there.
You have...
we had the Gypsy. That was the other one.
Yes.
But she didn't get a lot of screen time or talking time. I think
not a whole lot.
the most prominent scene with her in it was like near the end of the movie when the two buddies get left behind after all the vampires race into the house, and the British girl and the Gypsy are left behind, and they go, "Hey, look what got left behind." So they got to take care of them, and apparently Buddy 1 and Buddy 2 there, they lost their virginity to these two vampire women. Apparently not as loyal to the Countess as the rest of the group, because the rest of the group was trying to hunt down Mark to make sure that she could get her last dose of virgin blood before All Hallows Eve.
Exactly.
And these two were just like, we're going to toy with the boys for a little bit.
Was it Mark Kendall?
Mark Kendall, I believe. Yes, Mark Kendall. I've been calling him Jim Carrey the entire... His name in the movie was Mark Kendall. Occasionally we got to call him by name. But as 1985 films go, this was probably one of the better ones put together.
As far as a mainstream type comedy film, it wasn't bad at all, especially, at that time during the 80s, they made a lot of movies based off of horror legends and whatnot.
It was also one of those movies that was heavily focused on the musical aspect of the movie.
Yes, it was.
So there was a lot of musical interludes, just sort of scenes that play over, like when they first go to Hollywood, they had the whole "Once Bitten" song playing. And that was actually a pretty interesting. I don't think that they actually ever had women walking down the street in Hollywood with full-grown lions with diamond-studded collars in the 80s. Yeah. I mean, you tell me. If this was an actual thing, if people were walking down Rodeo Drive or in the middle of Hollywood with friggin' lions, you tell me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they're that eccentric over there. Send me pictures.
Not lions, but I've seen some crazy shit in LA.
Yeah.
Not lion, not panthers, like you probably may have seen in a few movies that I don't remember. But I've seen a movie where somebody was walking with a panther in a leash in the street.
I've seen a lot of movies like that, but the legality of having a big cat like that,
a pet lion,
and walking down a main street with it.
Well, and I was saying that to say what follows. In Florida, now anytime somebody says in Florida, they're gonna say some crazy shit. Southern Florida.
Okay.
As the closest you are to the Everglades, the more you see this. You might see the casual alligator just walking nonchalantly on the side of the road by himself, especially the little ones. You don't see a lot of big alligators, but you see little alligators along the side of the road. When I say little, I mean, your 4-foot long variety.
But they're not leashed. I mean, this isn't a human being walking these things.
They're not a pet alligator. They say if you see them alongside of the road,
leave them be.
And call animal control. Mind you, I lived in South Florida in 2003 to 2005 when I then moved to Central West Florida, which is Tampa. And during that time, it became like very norm to see an alligator just walking on the side of the road, like whatever, chilling.
So the question that I'm posing, even if they're trained, is this this is something maybe we can research for the next podcast and we can bring it up then. Is there a place anywhere in the United States where you can legally walk these types of animals, exotic animals? We're talking lions, even alligators. Can you take these animals and walk them freely amongst the public? Because I've seen several movies, especially in the 80s, it was like a fad Like, Who's That Girl?
Uh-huh.
Was one.
Yes.
You're talking about big cats out in public. Whether it be lion, tiger, puma, whether it be a mountain lion, whatever.
Yeah. I've never seen like that. No. In real life, no. And I've seen crazy shit. I've seen just dudes just riding horses, not police, just nonchalantly riding a horse through the streets of New York City, like in the hood.
Right. I mean, I can see a horse. I can understand that.
I've seen that. Just riding their horse, like very elegant horse, may I add. I've seen that. I've seen people walk around with all kinds of shit, pet iguanas on their shoulders, all kinds. But I never seen like a panther or a cat. I remember Mike Tyson used to have a pet tiger.
They use that to explain like the eccentricity. Is that what I'm saying? Eccentricity of the
basically to zone in on the eccentricity and just off the wallness of the place they're in. LA is very off the wall. Don't get me wrong. Just like New York is off the wall, even though they're off the wall in different ways.
It's like when you see it in a movie, it's like it's always somebody that's looks really wealthy and just carefree, and they're just nonchalantly walking this large creature that has no business being out in public.
Yeah, and I used to travel for work, and I've been to all the states, and I went to LA like a couple of times a year, 2 or 3 times a year. Mm-hmm. And I kind of hung around different areas every time I went, like see places, different areas, especially after my work is done, which was in the afternoon.
Never seen a lion there, did you?
I never saw a lion or a panther or a cheetah. I did see somebody walk around with a monkey, but nothing.
I mean, I've seen people walk around with stuff like that.
Nothing large and famously dangerous like that.
Somebody walking around with a boa constrictor like it's a freaking scarf.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
And I've seen that actually the first time I saw that in LA.
All right.
Like, as a grown-up. As a kid, I never saw some crazy shit like that. I've seen crazy shit. But, like, walking around with some weird animals, only in LA. I saw somebody with a koala once, too.
So, getting back to the movie. We got way off track for a minute there.
Well, no, because it's pertinent to the scene.
That one scene.
I mean, it's not like we're talking about fish for half an hour like the other day.
Oh, good Lord, yeah.
You probably laughed your ass off listening to that after.
Oh, several people that we know have listened to that and been like, whoa. You guys got real weird real quick that time.
What the hell is... Well, we're just talking about fish.
We say whatever the fuck we want. That's one of the wonderful things about podcasting.
People need to understand that as humans, we should be able to have certain conversations and not have this discomfort. Like, there shouldn't be such a thing as a forbidden topic. Because the only way we can understand each other is if we have the, in between quotation marks, awkward conversations.
I like awkward conversations.
I don't have the only way we're gonna, at some point, all of us, no matter how different we are from each other, learn to comprehend each other, is largely comes down to our ability of having uncomfortable conversations, speak about uncomfortable truth, such as some fish you shouldn't eat. All fish is not good fish. No. Shout out to Seth and Nico.
There's just some fishes just not worth the snorkeling.
I really loved that this happened when
everybody was here.
When everybody was here and everybody got to chime into the conversation. And Nico just said, okay.
So this is also going to serve as basically our Christmas podcast because we're going to be on vacation for Christmas. We've got a nice little podcast coming out next week. Yes. Zeph and I did a review for Surf Nazis Must Die. And,
yes.
That was a bit of fun. And then hopefully after the holidays we can all get back together and start knocking them out again.
Definitely.
This year, I'd like to be a little bit more prepared. Try to get together early in the year to get a bunch of buffers put in place to prepare for... We weren't that well prepared this year.
This year was anarchy.
There you go. It's in our name.
I don't feel we should be as organized. Well, yes, better prepared would be nice, but still being off the wall and go off the rails in a little bit. I mean, there were times more than others where we went off the rails, but it was still entertaining, at least for us to listen. The fact that there are people that have been listening to us since day one, which still do, says a lot. So, you know, let's still keep the anarchy. Let's not take the anarchy away from the anarchy. We could be better prepared with probably information about the film and whatnot. Speaking of which, there was a lot of goof-offs in this film as far as the way some scenes were made.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you remember the scene where somebody got dropped off in a laundromat and it was daytime. However, once they were in there, the scene, right?
Yes.
It was nighttime. You could tell it was nighttime outside.
That may not have been a goof. I mean, because if you look at it, these two guys were kind of creeping around looking for people. So they may have just been in there a while, waiting for somebody.
True.
So it's entirely plausible that there was enough time that passed between when they were sitting around looking for somebody and when they found somebody.
You're not wrong when you're right. That's a possibility. That
may not necessarily be a goof.
True. There's a couple of things here. I watched it on Amazon. There's always good notes and stuff of that nature.
Right.
There was on that dance-off scene.
Yes.
That you were able to see some crew and equipment. Good thing.
Yeah, they didn't mask it all very well.
The good thing it wasn't a how do you call it? A period piece.
Right. Because you can almost get away with it. It's like a prom. You could have gotten away with it.
It's not really like Jesus was crucified and you see a plane flying over. You've seen that, right?
Yes, yes.
It wasn't like that.
What just happened there? We know that. That's not supposed to be
You
here.
could have just done it again, man. Just cut and done it again. There wasn't gonna be multiple planes just flying all day continuously, right?
Right.
But it was kind of funny to see that.
So I want to say the only thing that I didn't particularly like about the movie, and I don't give a lot of downgrading to this movie at all. I'm one of the guys that would have given it a pretty high rating way back when, is I just did not enjoy Miss Copkins' performance. And I've seen her in a lot of things. I was doing a little research. I've seen her in everything from, she was in the Cosby Mysteries, she was in Dallas.
The Cosby Mysteries where Mos Def used to be his assistant. You know, Mos Def, the rapper, he used to act in that.
Well, he's done a lot of acting.
Yeah, but when he was younger.
Oh, yeah.
So he was one of the few actors that became rappers and got respect, because you've had a couple of actors that tried to rap that nobody cared for, like Nick Cannon, for example. But Mos Def was one of those hip-hop artists that were actors first, but they already had their respect in the street as far as rapping prior, so people respect him as a rapper still, you know, and he's very good at both.
Okay.
But yeah, I remember her from the Cosby Mysteries. She's kind of dry.
Well, it's the problem is that she wasn't believable for the age that she was. She
looked too grown for that age to you. Would you say?
She definitely was too grown for that age. It wasn't even a look. She was way older than she was playing at the time. She was 27, almost 30 years old at the time that she did this movie.
I could tell you she was older than Jim Carrey, I believe. At least by a couple of years.
She was trying to play a teenager in high school.
Looking because she looked young for 27, but she looked old for a high schooler.
And yeah, no, she did not play... She shouldn't have been cast in that role. They should have used somebody younger.
And I was reading on the trivia thing that for the contest role, they considered Kathleen Turner, who at that time looked gorgeous at that time for the role, and she she could at that time play a sexy woman to a T.
I loved that she had the balls later on in life. Just she went with the voice because of that low, raspy voice.
Oh yeah.
She went and played Chandler's cross-dressing father in Friends.
Yeah.
So
I remember.
I thought that was hilarious.
You have to respect somebody that's willing to do that and talk about it, because I've seen her talk about it in interviews and have fun with. She said she had a lot of fun playing that.
I just love that she was that carefree about it. It's just sort of like, you know what? People have said things to me in the past. I'm just going to go with it, and we're just going to make this role mine.
Yep.
Did
definitely.
a fantastic job.
They consider her for that role.
Okay.
Now, going back to Miss, what's her name again? Copkin. Who would you Coppins?
Back in the 80s, 1985...
There were plenty of actresses. But
I would have used... well, there were plenty of people that you could have used opposite, but I mean, you could have used, like, a Demi Moore.
Yes.
I was pretty young at the time. You could have used her.
Brooke Shields probably would have even done it.
Hell, you could have used Winona Ryder. She might have been a little young.
In 85, nah.
She might have been... Was she a little young then?
Because she still today look young for her age.
Well, she also was in Heathers around that time, wasn't she?
No, Heather was like later. Wasn't it in the early 90s, Heathers?
It's possible. Let me go ahead. Maybe I'm wrong.
You talking about Heathers that Christian Slater was into?
Yes. Maybe Heathers was 90s. No, Heathers was 88. So that was just 3 years after this movie.
After. The thing is that she had such a baby face, but then again,
maybe not.
Being the pure, the pure, also virgin young girl. Yeah, I could say Winona Ryder.
Yeah, because she did both Beetlejuice and Heathers in the same year.
We could have done Winona Ryder with some braids and stuff. Something dress really like kind of sporty. You know how a lot of girls...
I kind of stand by my first choice, though.
Who?
Demi Moore.
Demi Moore, too.
You could have used somebody... I mean, she wasn't necessarily recognizable back then. I want to say she had just done One Crazy Summer.
You know what thing that would have helped that character, too?
Go ahead.
You know, a lot of girls... it's not uncommon to see that a lot of girls are kind of tomboyish before they start exploring their sexuality.
Yeah.
Like, make her more of a tomboy and get out of that stereotypical pure little girl that only wears dresses and things of that nature.
Kind of like, what's her name? She was in Some Kind of Wonderful?
Yeah.
The tomboy lead in that movie, basically. The one that he was going after Leah Thompson the entire movie. And the other girl, I
know you're talking about. With the short hair?
Yes, I want to say Mary Stuart Masterson.
It was Mary Stuart Masterson. That was who?
Is it? Did I get that right?
Yeah, I believe that was her.
Okay. But no, that's...
it was
Mary Stuart Masterson, Eric Stoltz.
You know how... I don't know if in your teenage years you ever had the situation where you dated some girl that was kind of tomboyish.
I dated a few girls that were kind of tomboyish.
I mean, nonetheless feminine, but a little rough around the edges. You'll find a lot of girls, around that time that before they start exploring their things, they're kind of tomboyish. They have a tomboyish quality to them because either they grew up with a whole bunch of brothers, whatever the case may be. Nothing wrong with being a tomboy when you're a young girl, even as a woman. Nothing wrong with being a tomboy if you know when to turn the femininity on and off and whatever you want to do it, whatever way, whatever floats your boat. Nothing wrong with that. But for a young girl like that, it would have been better like playing off a goof like Jim Carrey.
Right.
Somebody tomboyish that kind of puts him on track a little bit too.
I think they were going with like the Snow White Virgin thing there, and I just...
Yeah, I would have preferred like a stronger... it's... That's what I don't miss about the 80s movies. That most of the lead girls, young girls, characters in those movies are the Snow White type.
Well, they had like strong moments, but it was always kind of capped with
Exactly.
a manipulation on the male's part. And that's kind of how this movie was. Is it was like this weird kind of manipulation, like, I need to lose my virginity. I need to lose my virginity. Now we need to have sex to save my life. You know, it was kind of how that.
No, yeah, exactly.
Progressed.
Yeah, damsel in distress type of deal. And in reality, women are strong and smart beings. And
it's a product of a lot of 80s movies.
Even young girls, like in the 80s, I never met a girl that was like any of those movies. Nowadays, a lot of movies and shows you meet a lot of girls like that. But back then, everybody was like little princess-minded damsel in distress. And, you know,
I never met that in real life.
Most of the women I was around was women that were, for the most part, very feminine, but will fuck up a guy if the guy thought he was going to get away with it.
It's like, nah, don't you pull that shit on me.
Exactly. So, most of the women I've met throughout my life were very strong. And I used to think, like, yeah, this is so nice. I kind of wish that I had a girl like that, but do I really? That was kind of like how we used to look at it when I was during those years, because I was very young. In 87, I was 13. So, I used to look at it and say, but, I probably might be annoyed by this, you know, because I grew up around a whole bunch of very strong women who were not only strong and tough women, but also had a sense of humor that was pretty crass and harsh at times. So I kind of wanted to see that also, and there were very few movies that portray that.
Right. So I think we can go ahead and wrap up the movie portion of our podcast here and move on into our sponsors. And when we come back, we'll do a little bit of Soundtrack Anarchy and some Pitchstorm.
No doubt.
All right, moving on in.
Yes.
Moving on up. Do.
Yes.
Moving on out. All right, thank you for sitting through our sponsors. We tend to thank people frequently for that. Because, I mean, nobody likes commercials.
They didn't forget. They missed the hell out of us.
So we are here to do the Soundtrack Anarchy portion of our podcast with Mr. Omar. And without further ado, I'm just going to let him go to it.
Yes, my people. The year of the movie we're reviewing today, Once Bitten, 1985. Well, that year had no shortage of great soundtracks. So many great movies. One of the best was White Nights. You had The Goonies. The movie we're reviewing today, Once Bitten, had a pretty decent soundtrack as well. You had Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, but we're looking into Back to the Future. I guess since we're talking about Once Bitten, and Michael J. Fox did a movie called Teen Wolf, along with that comedy based on horror theme. But Back to the Future soundtrack, nonetheless, was a great soundtrack. Great music. I'm going to talk about the least known ones as far as the soundtrack goes, which were great songs, but most of us didn't know were in the soundtrack at the time. I actually listened to the soundtrack years after. Probably I already had one of my 3 children, who is now 21. My first kid was already born when I really sat down and listened to that soundtrack the first time. Eric Clapton, Heaven is One Step Away, was part of the soundtrack. Great song. Johnny Be Good, but interpreted by Michael J. Fox himself.
Right.
It was great interpretation of it. I must say Michael J. Fox killed it. You had Earth Angel, as you remember, was one of the love themes for...
Wasn't there in the end of the movie?
Earth Angel. Yeah.
When he started falling apart.
Yes. You had Night Train. You had Back to the Future Overture. That was the movie score itself, Back to the Future Overture, but he also had more famous to the movie songs, such as the Back to the Future song by Alan Silvestri. You had Back in Time by the great Huey Lewis and the News.
Right.
Not the fake news, the news. And
Huey Lewis and the fake news.
He also had The Power of Love, which is one of his more famous songs. The Power of Love.
But that one song, Back in Time, will be synonymous with each and every one of the installments of that movie and the game itself.
That is the truth. That is the truth. And he had been made fun of so much. Back in Time. But it was a great soundtrack for a great movie. A lot of 80s sounding music, but a lot of 50s, 60s sounding music. One by Etta James, early Etta James joint called Dance With Me, Henry.
Okay.
It's part of that movie. Etta James, of course, great voice, great singer to listen to. Was part of the soundtrack as well. Whenever you have a chance, I have seen it in Amazon Music and in YouTube a few times. I don't remember having seen it on iTunes. You can find that too, though, probably. Great soundtrack. Go listen to it. It's the soundtrack to Back to the Future.
Only question I have about that soundtrack is that version of Johnny Be Good.
Yes.
I don't think that was Michael J. Fox that actually played that, if I'm not mistaken.
He sang it.
Did he?
He sang it, yeah. He didn't play the guitar, but he did sing it.
Michael J. Fox. That doesn't sound like him at all.
Yeah, it was him.
Like that squeaky voiced teen. I'm trying to picture him actually singing that song.
He's actually not a bad singer at all. But yeah, no, it was him singing.
That is something. Okay.
Trust me, I didn't believe it when I first heard it. When I first heard it too, and they told me, because somebody else told me, actually, I didn't believe it.
To be a fly on that recording studio wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
Because,
I wonder if they've got any video footage of him actually recording for that movie.
Because by the time I paid attention to it and I got the information that he sang that himself, I had already seen him on Teen Wolf. And right. Teen Wolf, he had that squeaky teen too, right. Kinda. And a couple of other movies where basically he was kind of an awkward teenager with cool tendencies, but nonetheless an awkward teenager. So right. You wouldn't picture it, but yeah, it was him.
Okay, yeah, you learn something new every day.
It was him.
I mean, I liked that movie. I like it a little more now knowing. I know he had the thing for the guitar. I had no idea.
I don't believe he played it. I didn't check on the fact whether or not he played on the song too, the guitar that was being played, but he was the singer of that version.
As Alice from Alice in Wonderland would say, curiouser and curiouser.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go ahead and dole out some cards here for the Pitchstorm portion of our podcast, which tends to lead us to some dead air moments, so we'll try to fill that dead air as much as humanly possible. But if you'd like to go ahead and draw...
Oh, I had some great ums.
You got some ums?
I got some great ums.
Okay.
My repertoire of ums is bottomless. It's never ending.
What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, you said something about the dead air.
Okay.
I would just say every couple of seconds to fill the dead air.
I don't know that we want to do that, but yeah. If you want,
I choose different things, I'll be like,
You can go ahead and pick 2 cards out of the plot deck there. Whatever you want.
And the next is brought to you whichever one of our sponsors you choose.
This brought to you by meditation.
When you need some sit down and shut the fuck up, meditation.
Right, everybody needs a little sit down and shut the fuck up every once in a while. Like, I can hear my dog on the other side of the door, and occasionally I wanted to say, sit down and shut the fuck up. But I love the dog, so I won't say that. So,
let's switch this one
Oh, we're going to switch this one?
That one is more for when you're playing, like, we get in together one of these nights and play.
Ah, okay. Well, we won't do that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got there. Got something better? Maybe?
Yeah,
all right.
Definitely.
So I got our notes here. You got one card, pitch that down. I got that. And you can match up one of your cards with that and read it out to us.
All right.
And that is the other card.
Let's get it.
Okay.
So, choose the plot from your favorite book. Your movie is an adaptation to that.
Plot from your favorite book. Okay, well.
There is a book that I can think of a movie.
Okay.
It is from the same guy that wrote The Bone Collector.
Okay.
Why can't I remember this guy's name?
Well, I don't know that guy's name either.
Anyhow, the name of the book is The Coffin Dancer, one of my favorite mystery novels I've read in a while.
Okay.
And actually, it's the same character from The Bone Collector in that book. The guy the paraplegic detective guy.
Okay. Oh, of course, I'm going to misspell collector. You asked me to Google. I'm trying to Google for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one that's played by Denzel Washington.
Exactly. That same detective guy.
It's actually a novel idea for a detective who's a paraplegic.
It takes one hell of an actor to do that, by the way.
Because
you acting with just your facial expressions.
That's Jeffrey Deaver that wrote those books.
Yeah, that guy. He did a book called The Coffin Dancer. It's about a guy who happens to be a hitman of a sort. And basically, you have on the book the character that Angelina Jolie played as well in the book. And they're basically chasing down a guy that happens to be a hitman. So this is not like the serial killer Bone Collector. This one is an actual hitman.
Okay.
That kills for money. And they basically chase him all over New York City. And that would make a great thing for a movie, I will say. And I don't think that was made into a movie.
Okay, and all that was punctuated by the sound of ambulances blowing by in the background.
Chasing a hitman.
We live on that kind of noisy...
Somebody just got stabbed by a hitman.
We live on that kind of noisy street. So
the main character, a jealous bridesmaid.
Okay, jealous bridesmaid being hunted down by a professional hitman.
Yeah, or she could be the professional. Well, she could probably hire a hitman.
Or she hires a professional hitman who is currently being hunted down by a quadriplegic detective and his assistant.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Because she basically was like his feet and eyes his boots on the ground.
Well, I feel like we just throw Denzel in there. I think if he's already done it, why not make him do it again? He did it well that time.
He did it very good. He did a great job of that. So yeah, who will be the bridesmaid to begin with?
I got two names that pop very quickly into my head when I think of somebody that could play sort of a whiny, kind of jealous bridesmaid. Missy Pyle is one of them. That's somebody you're going to have to look up, isn't it?
You know me. I don't know a lot of the...
Missy Pyle's one of it. She's kind of played that kind of person in several different movies and TV shows.
That's who it is. I know her. I didn't know that was her name.
Yeah. Well, that's her name. Or Kristen Wiig of SNL fame.
Yes.
She was in the recent Ghostbusters movie.
Yes.
Kristen. So I think one of those two people could play Wiig with a double G.
Yeah.
Or I think, was it single G?
Double I.
Wiig.
Yeah.
W-I-I-G.
Oh, no, yeah. She will be great. I like her better.
Okay. So sort of a jealous, jilted bridesmaid.
Hiring a hitman.
Now, is she hiring the hitman to kill the groom or the bride?
We should. Or both.
I say she's in love with the bride and wants to kill the groom.
Yes, nice. They probably had something and they parted as friends, but she still has feelings.
She still has feelings. She saw this as an opportunity to get back into this girl's life, and realizing how far gone she is in love with this guy, she figures the only way to separate the two of them is by
Killing him, having him killed.
pulling a favor. This hitman is like he owes her a favor for some reason or another.
Yeah, it's not like she paid the money for it. She just basically called in a favor. That sounds doable. That makes it even more interesting because the guy is doing this pro bono because he's invested, because he owes this person in some kind of way. But here where the anarchy comes in.
Okay.
Because I haven't given the notes.
Okay, what's the notes?
I love it.
Okay.
What if we set this story on the first human colony on Mars?
Good lord. So these are all like
stomach that.
So if we're talking the first human colony on Mars, we're also talking about hyper intelligent human beings, and somehow because these have to be intelligent human beings. You're not going to just live in a colony on Mars and not be extremely smart.
Yeah. And and we call the colony Little Earth.
Little Earth. We call this Little Earth. So I feel like the hitman, he is how about this? This is a shuttle taking people to the first human colony on Mars.
So the hitman comes from Earth.
She's a jilted bridesmaid. There's two people on the ship that are getting married. The woman that's marrying this other gentleman, they're going to get married on Mars because this is going to be like a big thing for them.
I think they live. I would like to have it that they live in the first colony on Mars. They have like a little dome that the Martians that live in Mars kind of make fun of. Oh, you think you're better than me because you don't have to wear a helmet. Ooh, I live on Little Earth. Well, out here you have to wear a damn helmet.
Okay, that works.
They're all haters on Earth people because they're immigrants.
All the Earth folks are immigrants. You moved here. This is our land. What are you doing?
You come over here to take our jobs.
So I feel like the hitman ended up on the planet not because he was actually supposed to be there, because he killed a prominent scientist and took his place.
So
he got shuttled in. And the woman this woman, the bridesmaid, is also being shuttled in. So the husband, the soon-to-be husband and wife already lived there.
Yeah.
The bridesmaid is being shuttled in as a favor to the woman because this was her best friend, like, on Earth.
She became her best friend after they had a romantic thing going on.
Okay, you pick the bridesmaid. Oh, no, not the bridesmaid, the bride.
The bride?
The focus of Kristen Wiig's jealousy. Well, the focus would be the groom, but not...
How old is this one? 46? Well, she could play at 30-something.
She could play a little... Yeah, she could play a bit younger.
What's the name of the girl from The Good Word? The Good Place?
Oh, Kristen... Kristen
Dior.
Yeah, Kristen Dior.
Kristen Stewart.
No, that is not Kristen Stewart.
Oh, no, not you.
Just look up The Good Place.
Kristen Bell.
I think Kristen Bell, if I'm not mistaken. Bell, yes, Kristen Bell.
Okay. She could be the bride.
Okay, Kristen Bell is the bride. Well, we could actually have real life couple, Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell. Be the husband and wife. Pardon me, had a sneeze. All right.
Okay.
Happens every once in a while.
Yeah, every once in a few.
Won't edit that out either. They can listen to me sneeze. I don't care.
This is anarchy, man.
So I say, actually, we're going to have real life husband and wife in the movie, but I say that the hitman's played by Dax Shepard. That's the guy right there. That is the hitman. Her husband. So her husband in real life plays the guy that's going to kill off her soon-to-be husband in the movie.
Who do we make her soon-to-be husband?
You tell me, because I've been picking too many.
The husband. Who could
You got to pick a charismatic guy that honestly you think if he got killed, you wouldn't care so much.
A charismatic but not too smart guy. Somebody who could play that.
I mean, I got like 4 that pop into my head, like right off the top of the bat. Not necessarily people that are playing big in movies right now, which I like the idea of too.
Yeah, I like that. I see for this. Freddie Prinze Jr. probably.
Oh yeah, Freddie Prinze has been out of the scene for a while too.
I like Freddie Prinze Jr. for it. I like Zac Efron for it.
Zac Efron will be a little on the young side. So I mean, if you're
he's young.
Yeah.
I like Zac Efron. No, but Freddie Prinze Jr. I like Big Butts, and I cannot lie. I
don't think we're marrying her to Sir Mix-a-Lot.
No, we're not.
No.
Sir Mix-a-Lot could be the priest officiating the wedding.
That would be fun.
That would be very much fun.
Bring him in as the priest. Yeah, okay, there you go. Somebody who doesn't normally get that kind of screen time, we can throw him in there.
He could play himself at the wedding. He will be the entertainment for the night. He will also be the priest.
Somehow in the future on the Mars colony, Sir Mix-a-Lot, it posthumously becomes so famous, his music becomes so famous and culturally important that they basically bring him back to life clone.
Oh no, he was cryogenically he was frozen. And they unfreeze him every once in a while for his residency in Mars. Mars is the new Vegas. Yeah. There you go. Damn,
there you go.
We're designing a whole thing around this shit. No, but for the bride, Freddie Prinze Jr. I like. Who else do I like?
We keep Sir Mix-a-Lot in carbonite. You know, we'd freeze him every once in a while.
I like.
Bring him back.
What was this guy in the Transformers with Wiki?
Who?
I don't remember his name. I keep forgetting this guy's name.
Mark Wahlberg?
No, Mark Wahlberg was with Wiki too.
Well, he was in the Transformers.
Yeah, but the one before Mark Wahlberg. What was his name?
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about. Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. I like him for that.
Yeah, he's looking a little rough around the gills, so I could see him being sort of like a survivalist that in the Mars colony.
Yeah. That's how
I
met him.
I came up with some guys that just, like, off the top of my head, like...
So Shepard, being the good actor that he is, he could play that stone-faced hitman who's very methodical, very organized about his work. Very, very, like, by the book about his shit and how he does things. Very specific.
That actually would be a takeaway for him, because he's not normally that way in the movies. Almost every movie he's been in, they have him as some sort of bumbling idiot.
Exactly. That's why I'm following your trend of playing people against
type. Yes.
But he is a very good actor, though.
I would like to see him. I don't know what the name of the movie is off the top of my head. It's one of those movies I want to explore. It's one where Ben Kingsley plays a hitman. But I'd like to see him kind of be that kind of methodical, like, well put together.
There was one movie that Ben Kingsley plays a hitman that was an alcoholic.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
With James Caan.
Yes.
That one
That's what I'm thinking of, yes.
And Dennis Farina was in it, too.
And it was not a popular movie by any stretch of the imagination.
Something like that.
Something like that. I think that's what it is.
That he fell for... Who was the actor?
Tia Leone, I believe.
Tia Leone, yes.
Duchovny's ex-wife.
So he was a hitman for the mob in Buffalo, and they sent him out to San Francisco to kind of detox and shit.
All right. I can see that. Because the first two guys that came off of the top of my head for the actual husband, I was thinking Matthew Lillard, Shaggy from the Scooby-Doo movies.
Yes.
And
idiot.
The other one that I was thinking of is John Cusack.
John Cusack can play a younger guy any day and we'll believe
But actually kind of like your guy. So I think we'll stick with Freddie Prinze, because Freddie Prinze has really been out of the limelight for a while.
And he's good at playing anything.
Right, he was a really good actor. I think that Scooby-Doo role kind of screwed him over a little bit, getting kind of pigeonholed as Fred from Scooby-Doo.
I believe so, because he played some similar stuff after that, and he then sort of fizzled into the limelight, fizzled into the wind.
I don't know if that's by choice. I know that Sarah Michelle Gellar and him have a little family now, if I'm not mistaken.
Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Yeah, that's his wife.
I didn't know that.
Daphne from the Scooby-Doo movies. They're married.
Damn, Freddy.
You didn't know that?
Damn, Freddy. You know what? I gotta put respect in your name now when I say it. I gotta put some respect on your name when I say it now. Shit.
Right.
Nah, I mean...
well, you got...
I'm more power to you, brother, man.
You gotta give him respect just because of the family lineage.
His dad, Freddie Prinze, was a great actor. Great talent that left us too young because of his weaknesses, but nonetheless, amazing talent.
But, yeah.
Freddie Prinze.
I know, I don't know a lot about him. I know enough from just listening to interviews that he's done.
He was an addict.
He was a bit of an addict?
Dealt with addiction for many years.
I may want to go look that up. Just kind of read up a little bit. Maybe watch some of his old stuff. So where is this movie going? We have the hitman and the bridesmaid coming in on a shuttle together. Hitman's pretending to be a local or a scientist that's supposed to be coming over. Where are we going with this?
Yeah, but somehow the face doesn't match the scientist's robe.
No, because they keep this is the Mars colony, so there's got to be some way he's disguising himself to look like said scientist.
No, he just put on a robe, but he's always wearing like this suits that all look like it's the same suit, but they're like just different shades of a gray suit.
So I want to say the Dax Shepard thing, the look, is actually what the scientist looks like, the guy that he killed. He's disguised as this guy. He's somebody else on the inside.
Oh, okay. I see it. So he could play both at the beginning.
So there's like at some point the mask drops away and he's somebody else, but...
Who's somebody else? Dexter.
Dexter?
The guy who played Dexter.
Oh!
Like when the costume is eliminated, he is Dexter.
Dexter. Well, you said Dexter, and the first thing that popped into my head was Dexter's Laboratory. That's what I thought.
We were talking scientists.
Right, no. We're talking scientists. He was a scientist. Michael C. Hall. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
So I like that idea. He's like Michael C. Hall underneath. Like it drops off at one point.
But, you know, not looking Dexterish. Just a very stern, serious face. Just like this guy's playing throughout the movie as him disguised as, you know, a scientist that was just killed.
I like the idea of trying to get Dax Shepard to emulate Michael C. Hall and his mannerisms.
I don't know. No, I want them both to emulate a James Bondish type of guy.
Okay.
Always wearing the suits. And basically now, because he's dressing so elegantly, the scientist that was kind of a nerd that nobody will look at twice, all the girls kind of like him now because he's dressing in all this, you know, classic looking suits. Drives a nice car because as soon as this is what this guy drove, I gotta get something else. You know
the only thing that changes about the outfit is the tie constantly changes. That's it.
Yeah.
Same outfit all the time, but the tie changes all the time.
Or the tone of the suit and the same black tie. Like the same black...
I want to say, well, we're talking the future. We're talking the Mars colony. I want to say that the tie changes with his mood.
It's a smart tie.
It's a smart tie. It changes with your mood.
I love it.
Changes with the apparent setting, you know?
So, yeah, that will work.
I want to say this whole thing falls apart when the hitman falls in love with the bride as well. So she's about to marry some guy. Kristen Wiig has hired the hitman to kill the groom so that he can be with the bride. He calls in this favor with the hitman, and then the hitman realizes he's also in love with the bride.
Which makes sense because the bride is really beautiful.
But now he's killing... Right.
Her.
So now he's getting ready to kill the groom for his own needs, not necessarily as a favor for
Kristen Shepherd. So basically,
Kristen Shepherd?
what needs to happen?
Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig. No, Kristen Wiig is the bridesmaid.
Yeah, Chris. I'm just saying that he's trying to kill the groom so that he can be with the bride and not necessarily as a favor to the bridesmaid anymore, which is played by Kristen Wiig.
No, but what I'm thinking is Kristen Wiig realizes that she loves this person so much that she just wants her to be happy. And she tries to call off the hit. But too late because this guy is in love.
Right. And now he wants to...
I wasn't going to pay you, but I'll go to my savings and pay you. Just don't do it.
And now
because I really want her to be happy. I don't want to force this. And if we're meant to be together, we'll be together. Too late. I want her for myself. I was going to kill you too.
Right. And he's already decided he's going to kill pretty much anybody that's standing in his way.
Yeah, because he is a hitman in love.
So that throws throws things together for an epic battle between Kristen Wiig and Dax Shepard, pretty much.
Yeah, I will see it, and basically, Kristen Wiig loved this girl so much that when the guy is getting ready to do the deed, she jumps in front of the bullet.
Okay, so she takes a bullet for Kristen Wiig.
No,
Wow. Okay.
Kristen Wiig takes the bullet for the groom when the guy's gonna do the deed because she knows how and when it's gonna go down.
Okay.
Because she kind of, for some kind of way, we'll have to think of a way where she came into knowledge of how exactly and when he's gonna do it.
I got some anarchy for this.
To throw in.
So this is we're talking about Mars colony, dome, everything else.
Yeah.
And she goes in. She thinks she's going to throw herself in front of the bridesmaid or the bride to save the bride's life, and the bullet bounces off the brooch and pierces the dome.
Yes.
Pierces the dome and throws the whole place into lockdown and
so
chaos.
Everybody has to run and...
So you've got this whole kind of survival scenario. It's locking the place down. That the whole place is going into chaos because basically all the air is being drained out of the area. You got to get out of that particular dome, get to someplace else for safety, and there's just this massive battle that goes on between point A to point B to get out and get out alive.
While they're running out of time because basically all the oxygen is slowly leaving.
Cool.
Because it doesn't pierce the dome really bad. It's something where you have a little bit of time before you can board one of the few shuttles that are left.
It's a slow
while
leak,
you're fighting.
But it did enough damage that the dome is starting to crack.
Exactly.
So you've got time to get out of there, but...
You gotta get out of there.
You gotta get out.
But in the meantime, you have to also fight this dude. Because it's gonna be easier to defeat him here in the open than in a shuttle, in the confined space of a shuttle. That guy will beat you body to body.
And I say...
to man, you know...
About the time that they start this epic chase out of the area is when he decides to shed his mask and be just himself.
Yes.
The Michael C. Hall character.
That works. And yeah, because by this time it's too late to even care.
Right.
So I guess, yeah, let's do it. There's gotta be something else that makes it super funny too, because we are constructing a great plot. Something comedic that happens is that I guess the guy accepts this lady. I guess the reason why she decided to not get this girl killed is because the guy was so good to her, to the love of her life, that she kind of fell for the guy too and felt attracted to the guy, and they all end up together. All three of them, the guy just happened to have 2 wives.
So you want to make this a comedic moment, right? You want to have like I like again, I'm the guy that likes to do things that make movies bad. So here's your comedic moment.
Uh-huh.
So we're having this massive thing, grand scale thing going on. You're talking the disaster of the pierced dome. They're having the epic battle, leaving. Here's the comedic moment. As all this is happening, as we're getting to the climax where it's either they escape, they die, whatever, everything pulls back to a panel of guys, scientists, sitting behind a bunch of monitors. Mm-hmm. And the scientists are just looking back and forth at each other. And turns out this is all just a simulation. They're simulating these people that they're supposed to send to Mars. These are the scientists that they were supposed to send to Mars. It started off as a serious simulation that they're supposed to use for training to send these guys off. And they're just like, fuck these people. We're not using them. Just send the next people in.
Yeah, but they do end up, all three of them together. Because in the middle of the hitman, doing his thing, and she's still, the hit's still on, she's trying to do things to make him look like he was a douchebag. For when after he dies, she doesn't mourn, the bride doesn't mourn the groom for too long.
Right.
So, so we can get this relationship going already. All the carpet munching and fish eating and whatnot. So, she's trying to do things. She sends people to try and seduce him. She tried to seduce him herself just to make this guy look like he's a douche.
It's where typical.
She discovered that she has some kind of an attraction for this guy, and also the fact that he's a decent human being, that he doesn't want to cheat on his girlfriend. But by the end, there's the conversation when they're leaving, when they're finally leaving, and they're all together in safety about, what if it was a mutual agreement, blah, 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 blah. Because the girl just got a bullet. It was just a bullet in the shoulder that didn't penetrate anything, so she'll be all right. So that conversation is had, and they end it all together.
Okay. I got a really bad comedic moment for you. How about we throw it in even further chaos? Forget what I said before. Because we're just throwing ideas out here. That's why we're pitching things. So Freddie Prinze Jr., obviously, we were not making this much of a focus on him. It's all a focus about taking him down.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, Freddie Prinze Jr., as it turns out, is actually the hitman's twin brother in disguise. If you're talking about making this really, really bad and really comedic,
when the thing comes off,
the guy pulls off his mask. It's supposed to be this climactic moment, and he's basically about to kill Kristen Wiig before he goes after the groom. Then the groom pulls off his mask, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Do you think Michael C. Hall will be good enough to play these two different personalities? Because they're going to have different personalities.
Oh, yeah. You saw him in the Gamer, right?
No.
Oh, my God. He played this guy that... He was like the end-all and be-all of this futuristic world where basically people are using humans. That's one of your things. Humans as real-life video games. So, like, you could actually, like, be a sim. Like, say, your job would literally just be put on this necklace, which takes you out of control of your body. And somebody else with a controller at home is playing you as a game.
Oh, shit.
Right, so he basically played the guy that created this whole thing.
That sounds like crazy to watch. Now I want to find it.
Yeah, it's him and Gerard Butler was the gamer. The not the gamer, but the guy in the game that takes Michael C. Hall down. It's interesting.
I gotta see it now.
It's definitely well worth watching. It basically
watch it today.
It was basically like a commentary on how wealthy people will eventually kind of own other people. Like poor people did those jobs. Mm-hmm. You want to make a little bit of money, be a sim. You can be part of this video game.
Like the human hunting that took place in, I don't remember a movie Ice-T did.
Surviving the Game.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's another movie we need to watch for this podcast.
That was crazy.
So I think we've done enough with the Kristen Wiig movie. Let's move on to the next movie.
That was deep.
Yeah, that was pretty good. We went all over the place for that, but you could do something with that if you want to. I mean, go way the fuck out there.
Well, we went way the fuck out there. We went to Mars.
As soon as you gave me those notes, we went way the fuck out there.
Yeah, the minute we knew what we had, we went way out.
So our second Pitchstorm here is a trigger-happy police officer goes from ugly duckling to beautiful swan. And what if all of this is taking place in a dream? So getting back to the whole, the bad idea. That right there. This is the worst idea in all of cinematic history. Where you have an entire movie that takes place as a fucking dream sequence. It's like just flipping the person off. that's watching the movie. Hey, by the way, all that stuff you got really invested in, they were dreaming it. It's okay. None of that was real. You don't have to worry about it. Go about your day. The dream sequence is like a big FU. So when we're talking about a trigger-happy police officer who goes from ugly duckling to beautiful swan, we already have a movie like this. Miss Congeniality.
Yeah.
We already have a movie like this.
So who is it? Well, yeah, the Cards and just the Cards, they pretty much met each other in that.
Yeah, it's just.
But she was a federal agent, wasn't she?
Well, police officer, federal agent,
law enforcement.
She was an ugly duckling officer with a gun, basically.
Well, yeah, the general concept of Bacon, who happens to be a hot chick.
How hard do you think that they had to work to make Sandra Bullock, of all people, look like an ugly duckling? Because she is not an ugly duckling at all.
She's pretty hot.
They had to really do some work on her. Like, not as much as Charlize Theron in Monster, but enough.
I believe that what they did was mainly put her in clothes that were unflattering to her. And
messed up her hair, no makeup.
Make her like a tomboyish character.
So we're doing a dream sequence movie. So we have an ugly duckling police officer. I feel like maybe when you're talking dream sequence, you're talking early on in the movie. Something happens, like maybe mid-chase or whatever. She gets hurt, she gets knocked unconscious, and she's in a coma. And she's living out her entire movie in a dream. So these people are introduced into her dream as they come into the hospital room to visit her. So they're talking to her, and as they're talking to her in the real world, they're being introduced into the dream sequence.
Shit.
So
like all of a sudden they just appear in the dream sequence.
So I want to say this is like a serious, like this whole dream sequence that she's having is sort of like a.
So people basically
should I stay or should I go dream. Kind of situation. So
people come into the dream in the same order she saw them during the day.
Right. Also, I was saying, like, when they come into the hospital room, like, these people, obviously people in her life are coming in,
that came and see her in the order that they came and see her during the day.
So, like, the doctor comes in or the nurse comes in, all of a sudden they're introduced into the dream.
Yeah.
And so she's still consciously absorbing things that's going on around her. Mom and dad have an argument.
She just cannot respond to it or have any real-world impression to it.
All of her responses are within the dream.
Yeah.
So I want to say that I
really like that. Where have you seen that?
I don't know.
The Cell?
No. I mean, you see bits and pieces of stuff like that in different movies, but like nothing quite, not really extravagant. You know what I mean? They don't really go into like somebody's subconscious being built up from the. Like I want to say she's creating her own fantasy world. Like she was kind of tired of what her life was out there. And she's constructing her own fantasy world in here. So she starts off in a blank room. Nothing. And she's literally subconsciously building it from the ground up. Building it as a place she does not want to escape from.
As she's looking at it, she's building and she's smiling and looking at it. Just like she likes the building. Just like she likes her coffee shop. Just like she likes her store.
Right.
Just like she liked the bus stop.
Just everything in her world is her perfect representation of that thing for her.
Yeah.
Including herself. So she goes from ugly duckling in the real world to
pretty woman
in her dream world. So does
she wake up?
I'd say that's the conflict. She has built this dream world within her coma world that she does not want to escape from, and something from her real world has to bring her out.
Yeah. So who do we like?
So, I'm not going with Sandra Bullock for this because she's already done the Miss Congeniality thing.
Yeah.
I
figure like a woman, for example, like this and others like her will look pretty no matter what. So, let's not go with her.
I've got the perfect girl for it. We've already seen her in a couple movies.
I have one that I like, but give me yours.
Samara Weaving. You don't have to think about it. The girl from Mayhem.
Oh, okay.
She was recently.
Yes.
You can find her. She was recently in Truth or Dare. Not Truth or Dare. Ready or Not.
Yeah.
No, you have to have the whole name there. You don't want to just put Samara in there.
I thought I put Samara Weaving. Oh, I guess I didn't go down as I thought I did.
There you go.
That's her.
So take her.
Yes, definitely.
I'd say she has the ugly duckling thing in real life, and in her world, she's basically a pretty woman. You know.
Mm-hmm. I like her, and I like Halle Berry for it too.
Okay. I want to say I like Halle Berry, but if you're talking a woman of around that stature, I would go with Jada Pinkett Smith first. The reason I say that is because while I do like Miss Halle Berry, her tendency is not towards like weird comedies. This would be sort of a weird romantic comedy.
That's why I like her for it.
You think that she could pull it off?
She could do the ugly and beautiful thing to a T.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you saw Gothica.
And you saw Monsters Ball.
Monsters Ball, yep. She could definitely do that. So we got a difference of opinion.
I like
here.
Halle Berry. I like this one. Kristen Shepherd, Margot Robbie. No, neither.
No,
they look too pretty to look ugly in any type of way you put them.
You could do Charlize Theron.
I like.
I mean, you saw her in Monster.
Charlize
Even
Theron. I like
Christina Ricci.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, we got Christina Ricci. There we go.
Yeah, she is the one.
Because she's done. I mean, she was in Monster too, and she did both the ugly and the pretty thing in several different movies. So she could do that. Okay, so we got
We gotta get a doctor that discovers it too.
Discovers that she's
like in the dream having this thing, and this is what's going on. So we need to pull her out because it's not going to happen randomly.
So she's in a coma, but her brain activity is really high, so she's processing a lot.
So the guy goes.
I don't know if that's scientifically even feasible. I don't know what I'm talking about.
They find a way to go in. Like, do you remember the cell?
Yeah.
Find a way to go in and see what's going on in there. They don't see specifically what's going on,
but
they kind of have an idea of what's going on and what can they do.
We want to kind of have a sci-fi element to this, so it's not necessarily the future, but it's enough that we can actually interact with people's dreams if need be. Yeah. It's like, I want to say it's like
probably something new that hasn't been tested that could be potentially dangerous, fatal.
Right. It's like it's dangerous. It's not dangerous to the person that's in the coma, but the person that is diving into the dream may not be able to get back out. To
give the plot a very useful dose of tension.
So who do we like for the male lead then? Is it a male lead or a female lead that's trying to bring her back out? Is it a love interest? Is it a brother? Is it a sister?
No, it could be a female lead also. A female lead, but it has to be somebody that could play somebody very, very smart. Like Doctor
Smart.
Super. You know who I like for this?
Who do you like for that?
You remember NCIS, Polly Perrette?
Yeah, and she hasn't really gotten a lot of play outside of the TV show.
No, and she left it.
Well, there was a lot of controversy behind her leaving the show.
I heard like Mark Harmon had it in for her, like they hated each other or something like that.
Yeah, she was not favored on that show at all. But that being said, I like that.
Polly Perrette. I like Maria Bello.
Maria Bello. Wow, you don't actually see a lot of her anymore.
Yeah, I like her. Have you seen on Prime a series called? Oh my God!
What about
with Billy Bob Thornton? That he's a lawyer. She plays his ex-wife on this show.
Oh, that's oh God. That's the one on Amazon, correct?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, too.
Can't remember
the name of the show. Because I haven't actually seen it, so I'm not invested in it yet.
The first season was amazing. I haven't seen the second one or the third one.
You are invested in it, and you haven't... you don't remember the name of it, so how am I supposed to?
Damn.
So, I like Maria Bello. I was either thinking that or her opposite in that movie, Coyote Ugly, Piper Perabo. Don't see a lot of her anymore.
Piper Purple's beautiful. I remember her from Covered Affairs, the TV show that she used to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember her from... There was this ABC... It was an ABC Family movie, I think, that they had to change the name of. It was called She Gets What She Wants. And it's this girl who plays... She plays a girl who plays a foreign exchange student that goes to this, I want to say, this rich Texas town. She gets put in with a family who, like, the girl that is within this family is like the homecoming queen, the head of the cheerleading squad, yada, yada, yada.
So something or someone from her real world.
Right.
To pull her back.
So, okay, so the scientist, Piper Perabo, I think the lead, the person to bring from the real world, is not necessarily... It's somebody that she really likes, like, has a massive crush on.
An estranged best friend, not necessarily a love interest.
I was thinking her partner.
Could be an estranged partner.
Like, she had a former partner
that they ended up in bad terms, but they still had feelings for each other some kind of way.
She was so into her job that when she realized she had a lot of feelings for the guy that was her partner, she decided to put in for a new partner, separate herself from him, and she never explained it to the guy.
And the guy pretty much hit him hard.
So it hit him hard because, they'd been partners for a while.
He didn't know what to do with it.
And without any explanation, she separates that partnership. She didn't want it. She's like, well, no, that's the job first, and I have to separate myself from that. So let's push him aside. He doesn't need an explanation. I just need to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And he comes to visit her. So, okay.
So they could see, like, something changes when the guy comes. Something changes when the guy approaches the bed and...
So I like an actor that does not get a lot of A-list movie play at all. And you can look him up too. If you like.
Harry Knuckles.
Not Harry Knuckles, no. He's
Jesus
actually...
Christ, Vampire Hunter.
He did a couple of A-list movies and then went quickly to the D-list. He was in Starship Troopers. Casper Van Dien. You're going to look him up, aren't you?
Of course. With that name?
I think either Casper Van Dien or Crispin Glover. One of the two. Casper Van Dien is more masculine. Crispin Glover has sort of a creepy quality to him, but he can be...
No, Casper.
That's the guy.
Yeah, Casper looks like he's a handsome dude, but he also looks like your everyday guy. Make him look like this, though.
Right there, the one with the beard.
Yeah, like that, They probably worked in advertisement together or some shit like that.
I want to say he starts out clean cut and everything when he was her partner. So all the flashbacks, he's really clean cut. But since she separated that partnership, he's kind of a bit more shabby.
Yeah, but it's not that he's depressed or anything. He just changed his look. Because sometimes you will change it when things happen. It's not because you're depressed. It's because subconsciously you're moving on. Men do that too.
Right. Well, subconsciously he felt he needed to stay clean cut when he was with her. Now he's like, no,
it's not also like a wild, unkept look. It's just he let a beard grow up a little bit, but he keeps it nice and neat. So we're not talking about something. It's because sometimes also to symbolize that some time has passed. So things have changed for him as well.
Yes.
Not necessarily a new love interest because he's not thinking of that. He pretty much threw himself into his work, and probably a friend or a family member suggests, you will look good like this, and he tried it, and it worked for him, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, Mom and Dad. Who's going to play Mom and Dad? Because obviously they got to visit her.
The person in Coma's Mom and Dad?
Maybe Mom isn't around. We only have Dad.
The DeVitos?
The DeVitos?
Danny and his wife?
Wow. I don't know. They're not married anymore. Danny and Rita? I don't think they're married anymore. Rhea Perlman?
Yeah. Would they be able to work together either way?
I don't know.
Because I want to see Danny DeVito in a real serious dramatic role.
Okay, well, let's put Danny in there, but let's make his wife, the woman that he's married to, the woman he had this child with, Miss Christina Ricci, like his exact polar opposite. So he is like this really he's stern. He's got a very serious demeanor about him, and which is not Danny DeVito at all. Mm-hmm. And the woman that he is with,
some beautiful woman of a certain age, like Michelle Pfeiffer.
There you go. Michelle Pfeiffer is his wife.
But she has a very bubbly personality, and they stay together because they get along well. So we're talking about a dramatic role. But there's two people whose personality bounce off, and they balance each other well.
Right. It's always just like this weird, it's a very weird dynamic, but it seems to work for them. You know what I mean? Like, nobody else on the outside can see that it works.
Yes.
But, like, you catch them in, like, private moments when they're not arguing in front of everybody, and you can see why it works.
And they're not necessarily arguing, more like bickering.
Right. So, like my feeling is, like, when there's a doctor in the room or there's other people in the room, mom and dad are constantly fighting. But daughter's in a coma, everybody's gone, nobody's there, that's when you see the dynamic work. Like, that, their actual relationship.
And they're talking about, there's gotta be something to do. We gotta have faith, though. Yeah, and then, something that builds on those characters to make them endearing to the public.
And in her dream world, mom and dad are very different people.
And make it look like the characters, one doesn't work without the other.
Okay.
They're not necessarily always together, but when you see them separately, you're missing the other one there. To write it that way.
Right.
In a way. Because a lot of people are married for a while. You don't really see them without each other.
Right.
In your mind. So you and I could be talking separately. We could see each other separately every day. But, for example, like, I wouldn't see you without your wife. Like, in a way.
I'm here, she's here.
In a way.
Okay.
In some kind of way. Because if you don't, she's not there, somebody doesn't mention her, you mention her.
Okay.
In that type of relationship. So it's a close relationship, but because they're different personality, they butt heads a little, not in a very serious, just bickering, but they really complement each other, and they do miss each other when they're not around each other.
That seems to work. I like that idea.
Because
them like,
and then they basically switch roles when they go into her dream.
So two parts of a whole. He becomes the bubbly, sunny personality, and she becomes the stern figure. Okay.
What happened to you, Dad?
I just like the idea of, like, that whole coma world just being like her making it about what she thinks she needs, not necessarily about what she needs, but she's trying to perfect everything in her mind. Like, she's trying to work everything out.
She's building a world because she's the type of person that is very much like things a certain way and is a certain way, and she could be kind of a perfectionist in her waking life. So in her coma, she gets to
I want to
sit at the wheel.
I want to say she almost has like an OCD personality. Everything needs to be very neat, very, very ordered, and when it's not neat and ordered, that's why they have the ugly duckling syndrome. Like, everything needs to be neat and ordered, including herself. Like, do you remember Frasier? Mm-hmm. Back in the old days, in Cheers, when he was always with Lilith. Uh-huh. I want to see her as that kind of character.
Yes,
like this very buttoned down, very repressed. She's got the hair pulled back in a tight bun, always serious. She took on her dad's demeanor when she went and worked.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Just very, very stern.
That will be it. And also, there's an opportunity for a good message there, where all these people that kept coming into her coma dream,
right,
somehow disrupt whatever she's building. So this comes to teach her to relax and let go a little bit, to not be so hard on. So the way things could happen is where people come in and somehow disrupt what she's such a balanced and perfect and even thing she's created, and disrupt the subconscious symmetry of it all.
So that's why I liked your idea earlier. So we have that scientific technology that allows this guy to get into her dream. I want to say what happens each time these people come into the room is that they get interjected into her dream. So mom and dad come into her dream, and initially they're in their chaotic state from out here when they reach her dream. So they're the people that she knows them as in real life, and she has realized that she can mold them into what she wants them to be here. Mm-hmm. And this is why she's so stuck in the coma. because she can take that chaos that she had out there that she couldn't control in real life and make it her own here. So she makes it exactly what she wants out of it here. When he comes into the dream, she realizes he's that one bit of chaos that she cannot control.
Yeah.
And that's what starts slowly pulling her out.
This guy was kind of an outgoing, more relatable guy. He was a hard worker, but he was also not necessarily a social butterfly, but very approachable and very relaxed about life. He wasn't a perfectionist at all. He needed a little bit of chaos to be creative. Right. Remember, they work in that environment like advertising or something like that. So he was this type of person.
Okay.
And that's probably what kind of attracted him to her. Because she grew up with parents that are polar opposites that always complemented each other.
They're police officers.
The parents are both cops?
Oh, okay. No, I thought you were talking about the guy. Sorry, no, I went off on a different thing. Now you put it in perspective. I know what we're talking about now. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, you mean they're police officers, the characters, the main characters?
Yeah, that's what the whole thing is. It's a police officer.
Well, then that's different. Because in this case, this guy, she separated this guy from the thing because she got promoted.
Okay.
So this whole thing that she was developing that she had developed for this guy, she was kind of... You know how some women get scared when a change happens in their life that affects everything else, like especially in the work life, right, affects their personal relationship. Kind of that deal when she got promoted, it was a shock to her. She wasn't expecting it because she was used to like doing the same things, the same job. She was like a detective for a while and all these things, and that's how she started developing feelings for this guy. But when she got promoted to kind of like a head of her unit, then this is crazy. What the hell is going on now? Like, I can be liking this guy. This is gonna affect my career, or my career is gonna affect whatever could become with me and this guy further ahead, and things like that.
Okay. So
because she's a control freak.
I'm trying to figure out how to end this. Does it end like is the happy-go-lucky ending? Do you do it sugary sweet? Or do you try to throw a twist at it in the end?
Happy, but not sugary sweet. They go through hell to get to heaven.
Okay.
And the doctor is pretty much helping the parents through all this. The parents are really concerned with the whole situation because they want their baby back. Either way, the dad is an ex-cop. That's why he's very wound up. And
I'm trying to picture Danny DeVito as an ex-cop, ex-detective.
Yeah. That he's now a security consultant, so he's still even more wound up.
And that's why he made such a good cop, because nobody would have thought it of him.
I want to see him in really serious dramatic roles, because I've seen him in something way back when, and it was pretty good. And I can remember what he played. He played a guy that, it was like a short film. Way back when he was in the 80s, when he was doing these films with Jack Nicholson, he did a short film. And I can't remember for the life of me what it was. I remember seeing it at some art thing that they showed it. I guess nobody knew about it, but people went crazy when they showed it. But I want to see him in a serious role so bad, because I'm sure he will do great.
Okay.
But, yeah, and he's basically just too tightly wound up. Probably been more than her, and basically their relationship is based for their love of being a control freak,
right?
And their common trait of being so OCD about life.
That's what mom and dad's dynamic is. I think like he is very OCD about everything and needs.
Your mom making everything uneven in life,
and she's the one that gives him that little bit. I always giving him something to work with, you know.
She balances him out. So yeah, he will say basically she keeps me on my toes.
He's that little bit of chaos that he lets into her life.
Yes.
That keeps him grounded.
Exactly. So that's the little part that
Casper plays for her.
Well, that's the
or
part
should
that
have played.
That's the part that she didn't understand, and that's why she pushed him away.
Right.
So I guess this guy have matured to a point where he knows that he needs this in his life. So he welcomes the little bit of chaos, even though he shows reluctance to accept it, outbound. Like, he doesn't express the fact that he knows that this is something that he needs in his life, but he knows he does, and he accepts it, and he welcomes it, and he loves his wife for it. Okay. This is the part that she never got to understand. That's why she puts this other guy away.
All right, because we were going very romantic comedy kind of thing with this, a little bit of sci-fi.
It got serious. It got serious in Wi-Fi. I like it as a more dramatic film. Instead of romantic comedy.
My brain always thinks in terms of how to make this the most chaotic thing humanly possible.
No, for a change, because we're so anarchy. Like, this one should be something that people are not expecting from us to come up with. It could be a study in human behavior and how humans perceive the way they manage their life.
Because I like where we went. I would leave it at that. However, my brain started thinking of other scenarios.
Your brain started looking for your carrot tops to throw into the mix.
Piper, my thought was Piper Parable. We don't talk about her a whole lot at this point, but her character is supposed to introduce this device which allows him to go into her dreams, and I want to feel like this is a device that they can monitor from the outside. So what she's seeing, they're seeing. So it becomes an issue of her doing almost a Truman Show-esque thing to Christina Ricci.
Yes.
And I feel like she is getting ready to sell this technology to a television station or some like basically a place that wants to broadcast this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
this is basically the first time she's trying this on a real human, and it could be dangerous. Tried it on rats, some rats died, but they're willing to try to bring this girl back from the coma.
What I was saying is, like, mom and dad find out while they're out here, and he's in there, that she always had a way to get people into the dream, but never came up with a way to get them out. And now they're pissed and trying to get her, hey, no, you've got to figure out how to get him out. How do you walk him out of here?
I don't think it will be through the device. I would think it would be more through her own subconscious that the person come into the dream.
Well, it's not so much about getting her out, because she's just in a coma. He is the one that needs to be walked out, because
help her come back from her.
He helps her out, and now she's out and he's in, and he can't get out because there was no.
That's the reason that they both want to just stay in there.
There was no back door created. So now it becomes an issue of, is there even a way to get him out? And if she does wake up, will he wake up with her? Just add an extra little bit of drama near the end. It's like, Piper Parabo is found out not to be a great person in this movie. Basically,
because she's in it for herself.
Her tendencies were more for financial gain than for actually helping people. So when she introduced this initially, she didn't express to them that there was no back door. I haven't created one. I haven't figured that out yet.
Well, that's what the parts of the kinks that we're trying to iron out.
Right.
Yeah. Maria Bello could play her boss.
Okay, I like that. We're putting Maria Bello back in there. I like her as an actress. I've seen her in several things.
And she's good at playing serious roles. That's why I like her. Yeah, I think we got a movie.
I think that we should end that right about there.
We got a movie.
Been through 2 full pitch storms. That's pretty good for a week's worth of work.
Most def.
And with that, I guess we'll tie things up for the day. Thank you for tuning in and listening to us once again. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Spotify. We are usually streaming live through Facebook on Sundays, usually starting between 10 and 11 o'clock. Today was a little later. And we are up on any one of your favorite streaming apps for podcasts, Stitcher, Breaker, Spotify. You can find us on Anchor, that's where we produce most of this stuff.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. CastBox, we are on iTunes. We are part of the Google Podcast Store now. We're everywhere. With the exception of there are a lot of upper-end podcasting apps that we're not part of right now because we're not quite there yet. So we're not on like some of the pay per listen sites yet. Mm-hmm. Because you have to get to the point where people are willing to pay to listen to you. And, well, we got our sponsors paying us, but right about now we're not at that level yet.
Yes, we're not.
However, if you want to sponsor us or you'd like to donate to us, we do have a link on Facebook, on our Facebook page for donations through PayPal. Ignore the fact that my name is prominent on there only because we created the Cinematic Anarchy account. For some reason, it needs a human being's name attached to it. I'm trying to get the business account up and running, but it's a pain in the ass. So, it's just a pain in the ass I'm not willing to explore right this second. So.
Nah. That's reason number 13 why a lot of us avoid going to jail.
It's just a pain in the ass that I don't want to deal with right now.
Most definitely.
And that could be a pain in the ass for more than one reason. Don't drop the soap in jail.
Do not.
And for myself and Omar.
Yes, sir.
Ah.
It's been a blast, everybody. Tune in, tune out, zone out with us as we explore the movies we've watched and create new ones also. And I hope everybody have a very, very good holiday, a blessed, safe holiday. Eat a lot, drink a lot, enjoy yourselves and the ones you love. And we'll catch you on the rebound next time.
Sounds good to me. And we're out.